I'm Lucie Fink, and this week is 5 days of getting better quality sleep. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Try Living with Lucie. If you're new to our YouTube channel, be sure to click on the little subscribe button in the corner and give this video a thumbs up if you're ready to learn about sleep. I have recently, in pretty much all of my spare time, been reading books and books and books about how to get better quality sleep. I'm not quite sure why, but I've become obsessed with the topic. Two of my favorite books on this subject are Shawn Stevenson's book, Sleep Smarter, and Arianna Huffington's book, The Sleep Revolution. And when I say I've been reading these books, I mean I've been reading them, like with a pen, hardcore, taking notes, writing down everything, soaking up so much information, and now I just can't do anything else but share it with you. Some of my favorite videos in this series have been things like 5 days of zero waste or no plastic, 5 days of Ayurveda, videos where I myself have really taken a deep dive into a specific topic, and then the whole video is about sharing what I've learned with you. So this video, I hope, will be very helpful, and it's honestly my goal to improve at least some of your sleep qualities out there, and then hopefully overall that will have some major positive effects in your life, including overall health. So get your notebooks out, get your pencils out, and get ready to learn. So we all know that in our society, sleep is not notoriously sexy. It's actually a lot sexier to stay up late and to be creative and to party and to work your off and hustle. And so in our world, millions of people are sleep deprived and are suffering from the effects of it. Sleep regulates a lot of our body's hormone production, and it's actually during sleep that our body releases much of our growth hormone to maintain and repair muscle. So here's a short list of some of the effects of getting poor quality sleep. Relationships suffer, work productivity declines, cortisol, your stress hormone, is higher, insulin doesn't work as well and it can throw your blood sugar way off. You're probably feeling pretty grouchy, you may have dark circles under your eyes, a higher risk of more diseases, and a lot more. But when you actually sleep well and get good quality sleep, here are some of the positive side effects. Better skin health and appearance, better relationships and emotional state, lower levels of inflammation, fewer accidents happening in your life, enhanced immune system function, hormone balance, and a decreased risk of many diseases. So there are obviously other factors in our lives that affect all of these things, but I would say that the top 3 most important are eating real food, getting in some movement, and getting proper quality sleep. You do have to read some of these books on your own if you want to truly grasp the value of sleep for yourself, and there are so many studies cited inside with a lot of juicy information. So this week is about spending each of the 5 days implementing some of these tips that I've been learning recently so that I can jumpstart the improvement of my sleep quality. So let's start with Monday. Going into Monday, the first thing I did was set up a sleep schedule. If sleep is as important as these books say it is, then I need to pop it into my calendar as a high priority event. It needs to be in there just the same as if I had a work meeting or a doctor's appointment. I can't be late, I can't miss it, and I can't cancel. So on my calendar, I scheduled in a stop time for work at 6 p.m. My plan is to eat dinner at 7, and then starting at 7:30, I'm going to be getting ready for sleep. Winding down, starting all my self-care practices. I once heard someone equate it to almost having foreplay with sleep. You can't just lie down and expect to fall asleep. You have to tease it and ease into it. So once I was fully set up for the week, my Monday was focused on the morning time. A great night's sleep actually begins first thing in the morning. Your body's circadian rhythm is basically that 24-hour cycle that tells you when to sleep, when to wake up, and when to eat. And in the past, before the introduction of artificial light into our world, it was the sunlight and that predictable pattern of lightness and darkness that controlled these sleep cycles. There are a lot of reasons why getting proper sunlight exposure helps our bodies and helps this circadian rhythm. Firstly, and I think this is really cool, sunlight triggers your body to produce optimal levels of daytime hormones. First on that list is serotonin, and as soon as the receptors in our eyes catch that natural sunlight, we produce more serotonin, which is known to bring about feelings of happiness and well-being. Next is melatonin, and you've probably heard of people taking melatonin to help them sleep, and it's secreted naturally in our bodies as it gets darker outside. But one of the reasons why it's important to get natural sunlight during the day is to essentially tell your body that it's the daytime so that it knows when it's nighttime and it can coordinate that natural production of melatonin at night. And third is cortisol. Cortisol is notorious for being the stress hormone, and of course you don't want it to be overproduced or underproduced in the body, but at its normal levels, cortisol is actually what gives us the energy to to be awake and alert all day, so we need cortisol. So yes, when you get that daytime sunlight exposure, it encourages the production of cortisol, which helps set that natural rhythm of cortisol in the morning and melatonin at night. Another thing that's important to note here is that it's not just the sunlight that helps tune up the circadian rhythm, but it's also what time you wake up. According to psychiatrist and psychotherapist Tracy Marks, going to sleep early and waking early syncs the body clock with the Earth's natural circadian rhythms. And this is apparently a lot better than trying to sleep in the middle of the day when the sun is high up in the sky. So if you're not a morning person, I already made an entire 5-day challenge video where I tried to become one, so be sure to check that one out right after this. One of the most important ways to improve your sleep quality is to truly focus on the environment of your bedroom. And firstly, we have to train our brains to know, almost habitually, that the bedroom is meant for 2 things and 2 things only: sleep and sex. This means we have to stop doing things like watching TV in bed, binge watching Netflix in bed, bringing our laptops to bed to do work, scrolling through our phones, and chatting with friends. Because all of these things tell our brains that the bedroom is a social space, but we want the brain to think of it as a sleep sanctuary. Next, we're going to talk about the air quality in the bedroom, because even though this is something we can't see, it is vital. If you have the budget for it, getting an air ionizer is a great way to add more negative ions into the air, which can then bind to dust, bacteria, pollen, and other allergens. Some cheaper ways to re-energize that stale air in the bedroom would be to just open the window during the daytime, turn on a fan to get things moving, try using a humidifier, or just add some plants to your bedroom. You might be surprised at how good some houseplants are at filtering the air. So I recently got a snake plant that absorbs carbon dioxide and releases oxygen at night. Another major adjustment that you can make to your bedroom to improve your sleep quality is to make sure your room is 100% dark. I mean blacked out when you go to bed. Get yourself some blackout curtains, unplug your night lights, make sure that if you have an alarm clock, you're covering up those lit up digits. I live in New York City, so there's a lot of light pollution leaking in from outside of my windows. There are car lights, other apartment lights, and just general brightness from whatever the heck is going on down there. I do know of many people that sleep with their shades wide open so that the sunlight leaks in the morning and they can wake up naturally. But what I'm learning from these books is that it's a lot better to black out your room, sleep in complete darkness, and then when you wake up in the morning, open up your shades and let the sun shine. Using an eye mask can be helpful, and I actually have a ton of eye masks to choose from. But eye masks are not 100% effective, and I think that the study in the book Sleep Smarter that I found to be the most interesting is one that proves that it's not just light that's visible to our eyes that causes this sleep disruption, but it's actually any light that comes in contact with our skin. So the study put a fiber optic cable behind the knee of a test subject and illuminated a little patch of their skin about the size of a quarter. And even though the whole rest of their body was in darkness and their eyes were being shielded from the light, just that one little patch of light behind their knee was enough to affect their overall body temperature and also their melatonin levels. Mind blown. So Monday was spent focusing on the morning time, and Tuesday was all about the bedroom environment. But I know there are a bunch of things we can do throughout the course of our day to improve our sleep quality for later that night. So here are 2 things that can help, starting with physical activity and exercise. One thing I find fascinating about exercise is that everyone thinks that the moment they leave the gym, they're so much stronger than when they first walked in. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Working out and exercising actually creates thousands of micro tears in your muscle fibers and actually leaves you in way worse shape than before you walked into the gym. On his podcast called The Model Health Show, Sean Stevenson talks about how if you were to go to the doctor right after going to the gym and if you were to get blood work done, your doctor might actually think you were sick because your stress hormones would be elevated, your inflammatory markers would be way up, your blood sugar levels might be off, and so much more. So where am I going with all this? Well, exercise doesn't actually pay off and build us up until we've properly slept. Another important tip that I implemented on Wednesday is to exercise early in the day. I was probably the first person at the gym on Wednesday. It was totally empty. And there's a whole chapter in Sleep Smarter about how our body temperatures naturally fluctuate during the day. And to make a long scientific story short and easily digestible, when it's time to sleep, there's an automatic drop in our body temperatures to help us with that. In fact, we're actually supposed to sleep with our rooms between 60 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit, which is pretty cool. And I don't mean cool, I mean Cool. So knowing that our body temperatures are supposed to drop when it's time for sleep, it makes sense why evening exercise is not ideal. Working out can significantly raise your core body temperature, and then it's gonna take some time for that temperature to come down. Also, going back to the cortisol that we talked about on Monday, exercise can help encourage that natural release of cortisol. So exercising early in the morning is helpful for helping to put your cortisol cycle on track. A lot of these books have great information about what type of exercise is best, but I will give you a little hint and let you know that Sean Stevenson from Sleep Smarter is a big fan of weightlifting. And secondly, aside from physical activity, another thing we can do to improve our sleep quality is to set a caffeine curfew, or as I like to call it, a coffee cutoff. Even though I tried 5 days of no coffee before, I am personally back on the coffee train. I love a good cup of coffee, and I do subscribe to the idea that good quality coffee is really good for you. The issue with coffee and sleep is the caffeine content. So what many people don't know is that caffeine has a half-life of around 5 to 8 hours. It's a little different for everyone. And this means that after that 5 to 8 hour window, half of the substance is still active in your system. So let's say that based on your unique biochemical makeup, it's an 8-hour half-life for you. This means that if you had 200 milligrams of caffeine at 10 a.m., by 6 p.m. you still have 100 milligrams in your system, by 2 a.m. you still have 50 milligrams in your system, and so on and so forth. So if you're one of those people that's knocking back late afternoon coffees, or somebody that's having a coffee or a cappuccino after dinner time, just know that this caffeine can be causing major sleep disturbances. Sean recommends a 2 p.m. caffeine curfew if you want to make sure that by 10 p.m. at least half of the caffeine content is out of your system. I'm sure some of you out there watching this right now are thinking, well, it's the late afternoon already. I didn't get any sun exposure. I didn't work out today. I just had coffee like 10 minutes ago. So what can I do right now to sleep better tonight? And I hear you. I'm about to help you. A few things you can do right before you go to sleep to drastically improve the quality of your sleep are, number one, stop looking at screens at least a half an hour before you go to bed. Computers, phones, TVs, iPads, these have all got to go. All of these devices put out this artificial blue light that triggers our bodies to produce more cortisol and stifles our body's natural melatonin production. And if you're sitting there right now saying to yourself, I just can't think of one thing to do at night that doesn't involve looking at a screen, here's a quick list. Talk to somebody. Whenever Michael gets home from work, we sit on the couch and we talk. Read a book. Maybe one of the books I've already mentioned today. Water your plants. Write a letter to someone you love. Prep a meal for the following day. Practice playing an instrument. Look up at the stars. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. This list does go on, and these are all things that our ancestors used to do before the invention of the internet and technology. Now listen, I love the internet just as much as the next YouTuber. I've built my whole business and my whole career on it, but that doesn't mean I have to be constantly connected, especially just before I'm about to fall asleep. All right, now here's the second thing you can do tonight to improve your sleep quality. Going back to our discussion about core body temperature, make sure you're sleeping in loose, breathable clothing. I know that for so many people, they just pile on the clothing. Sweatshirts, sweatpants, robes. Going to sleep, they're like going off to the Arctic tundra. But you're going to sleep a lot better if you're just a little bit cooler. I wear baggy, oversized clothing to bed. Much of it is Michael's hand-me-downs, and it really helps keep me at a comfortable temperature. And the third thing you can do, I don't want to say right now because you might not have this product right now, but next day delivery, order it now, you'll have it by tomorrow. Spray your body with magnesium oil before you go to bed. Magnesium is necessary for many of the functions in our bodies, but today a large portion of the population is deficient in it. And actually, one central symptom of a magnesium deficiency is chronic insomnia. It all comes back to sleep. But as Sean shares in his book, research shows that a large percentage of that magnesium is lost in the digestive process. So then what's another way to get that magnesium inside of your body effectively? And the answer is putting it on your skin. So take a look online and do some research to see which brand you'd prefer, and then keep it next to your bed, and just before you go to sleep, spray it onto your chest, your neck, your shoulders, or really anywhere that you're feeling sore. Friday has come, as it always does, and we've just gone through tons of tips, but honestly there are so many other things to look at too that are very important here. To name a few: alcohol consumption, the food you eat and the health of your gut microbiome, the mattress you're sleeping on, the various positions you sleep in, and a lot more. First, let's look at alcohol. It's no secret that alcohol helps a lot of people fall asleep faster, but what it's really doing in there is disrupting your REM sleep cycle, so your body and brain are not able to fully rejuvenate. So wrap up those drinks at least 3 hours before you try to go to bed, and be sure to drink a ton of water alongside your alcohol to stay hydrated. Up next, your gut. I did an entire episode on gut health, so be sure to check that one out. But just remember, you are what you eat, and whatever you choose to put in your body can do a major number on your overall health. Also, 95% of your body's serotonin is found in your gut. And do you know what else is in your gut? Melatonin. So if things are running smoothly down there, you will have a tremendous increase in your quality of sleep. If you're sleeping normal hours, approximately 1/3 of your life will be spent on your mattress. So I recently swapped out my mattress for a new organic mattress that has no toxic dyes, no chemicals, and also no flame retardants, which can release toxic gases into the air. On my own YouTube channel, I either just released or I'm just about to release a whole video about this. It's called 17 Ways to Make Your Home More Organic, so definitely go check that out. And lastly, your sleeping position. So here are some of the sleeping positions that we tend to gravitate towards: the fetus, the log, the yearner, the soldier, the free faller, and the starfish. I'm personally a starfish sleeper, but comment below and let me know your sleeping position. There are some pros and cons to each position, so just make sure you're reading up about the differences, and also make sure you're making any necessary adjustments to correct any mistakes you're making. Obviously, I'm just starting to scratch the surface here when it comes to sleep and truly understanding how important it is for our bodies and minds. So if you have any more tips or anything else you want to share, comment below now. And if all else fails, have safe, consensual sex. As I heard Ariana Huffington say on a podcast recently, orgasms are Mother Nature's Ambien. Interesting. Good to know. Thanks so much for coming back to Refinery29's channel. Click here to subscribe if you haven't done so yet, and comment below to let us know what you want to see me try next time on Try Living with Lucie. See you then. Hey YouTube, thanks for watching. Click here for another 5-day challenge video, right here to subscribe to Refinery29, and right here for my personal YouTube channel. See you later.